Want to eat healthy, read more books, learn a new language? Have you been dreaming about one day getting off your oh-so-comfy couch and actually mastering the clarinet? Well, today is that day. And don't worry, you don't have to start from square one. Let's take it one step at a time, making small changes every day and turning them into habits. Big dreams have small beginnings. All you really have to do is be patient and trust the process. Picture yourself going on a 20-minute jog. You obviously won't see an immediate result, but in the long run, you'll be leaner and fitter. Similarly, if you eat pizza every day, you'll sure as hell gain a ton by next Christmas. Okay, maybe that doesn't sound too convincing. The point is, small habits can have a powerful impact. So even if you don't see it happening, at least you'll know that you're doing the right things and heading in the right direction. But how do I get myself to follow that direction? Well, that's coming. Practice makes perfect. Do you make yourself a cup of coffee as soon as you wake up? Do you immediately switch on the lights when you walk into a dark room? You see, that's how habits work. You've done it so many times that it becomes second nature to you. And that's what psychologist Edward Thorndike was trying to prove when he placed a few cats inside a black box and timed how long it took them to escape. After about 20 to 30 attempts of scrambling around, the cats learned the trick, and the process of getting out the box had become habitual for them. It's the same for every habit. And take note, they mainly consist of 4 things. A cue, which is sort of like a trigger that gets you to act. Then comes the craving part of it, a desire you want to achieve. After that is the response, which is the action of the habit itself. And then finally, the reward, the positive feeling you get from completing the habit. Pave your own path. Now that you know how habits fall into place, use it to your advantage. Say, I want to become the next J.K. Rowling. Then don't just leave your notebook in your drawer thinking that one day you'll magically whip up the next Harry Potter series. Put it smack in the middle of your living room. That's how you can make your cue visible, making it easier to turn your desire to practice into a habit. Well, I did start writing, but for some reason I stopped. For that, my friend, you need to form a plan of action. Just tell yourself, okay, when that alarm goes off on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the very first thing I'm gonna do is grab my notebook and start writing for an hour. And does this work? Like how Dr. Anne Thorndike showed us, she wanted to help her patients improve their diets. She placed baskets of bottled water all around a hospital cafeteria. Guess what? The sales of water shot up by over 25%. So yes, it's tried and tested. Your mind is a magnet. Did you know dopamine is a powerful motivator in habit building? What's interesting in this case is that just the thought of doing something pleasurable is like hitting the dopamine button in your brain. Your brain will be like, oh yeah, bring on the good stuff. That's where the concept of temptation bundling comes in. It's like you're about to do something mundane, so you pair it with something you love doing. Like what Ronan Byrne did, the Irish engineering student who turned exercise from to oh yeah. Instead of forcing himself to endure the torture of a treadmill, he thought, hey, I love Netflix, so why not make exercise part of my binge-watching extravaganza? He connected his laptop to his exercise bike and coded a little something which only let Netflix play if he pedaled at a certain speed. Of course, that doesn't mean you need to be a coding wizard like him to sprinkle some excitement into your life. There are easier ways to make those dreaded tasks a bit more enjoyable. The whole point is to find a way to make those boring tasks a little bit more fun. But fun isn't the only secret ingredient here. There's another really cool trick that you should know about. Make it easy. Aren't all of us guilty of mindlessly scrolling through social media or devouring a bag of potato chips? Why? Because those things are easy peasy lemon squeezy. But doing 100 push-ups or learning Mandarin, those take serious effort. And they don't exactly scream fun during our free time. To make a habit stick, it's super important to make it pleasurable and easy. By reducing friction and making desired behaviors as easy as possible, we increase the chances of turning them into habits. For example, keeping a box of pre-sorted greeting cards at home reduces the friction involved in sending them. Friction also helps to break undesirable habits. Want to spend less time glued to the TV? Unplug it or remove the batteries from the remote. This way you'll only watch when you truly want to. Another technique you need to know about is the 2-minute rule, where any behavior is distilled into a habit that can be done in 2 minutes. Want to read more? Forget about committing to a book a week, just make it a habit to read 2 pages per night. Simple, right? Or if you dream of running a marathon, start by committing to putting on your running gear every day after work. It's all about building habits that are ridiculously achievable. Set yourself up for small victories that lead to even bigger ones. Because once you've slipped on those running shoes, chances are you'll hit the pavement. And once you've devoured those 2 pages, you'll likely want more. Satisfaction is key. In our today's delayed return world, it's important to attach immediate gratification to habits. Just like a public health researcher named Stephen Luby, who achieved great results in reducing illnesses. How did he do it? Well, soap. Luby understood that hand washing needed to become a habit, so he introduced a premium soap. With its easy lathering and amazing smell, almost overnight everyone started washing their hands, because it became a pleasant and enjoyable thing to do. This story teaches us the ultimate rule for behavioral change. Habits must be satisfying. For example, a couple opened a savings account called Trip to Europe and transferred $50 every time they skipped a meal out. The short-term satisfaction of watching the savings grow became their immediate reward, keeping them on track for their long-term goals. So make sure your habits are satisfying and add some quick rewards along the way. Frameworks work best. Try using a calendar or diary to track your daily progress. This act of crossing off each day becomes a satisfying habit in itself and keeps you motivated. Another way is to make a habit contract, like what Brian Harris did. He placed penalties for failing to stick to his habits. For example, if he didn't keep track of his diet, he'd have to pay his trainer $100. And if he wouldn't check his weight, he'd owe $500 to his wife. The fear of losing face in front of others can be a very strong motivator. So consider making a commitment to someone and setting consequences for not following through. These strategies will really increase your chances of sticking to your habits and achieving amazing things in life. Now that you've understood how to form habits and stick with them, commit to a new habit and build on the natural momentum. Share the deals you've made with yourself and the frameworks that you've formed. Let's keep the conversation going and share with someone that might need help in building new habits too. Happy watching!